am president of the New England College Student Senate. On behalf of the Center for Civic Engagement at New England College and the No American Debt Organization, it is my pleasure to welcome Governor George Pataki to our campus as part of the Econ 101 Town Hall Series. When George Pataki was governor of New York, he saw firsthand how the budget deficit can derail an economic recovery. Governor Pataki inherited a $5 billion budget deficit and turned it into a $2 billion surplus without raising taxes. Because Governor Pataki controlled spending, he was able to cut 19 taxes 81 times. The results? A booming economy that added 700,000 private sector jobs. Governor Pataki understands that economic recovery requires tackling debt head-on and making tough decisions. After defeating Democrat incumbent Mario Cuomo, the governor knew New York needed a new direction. New Yorkers experienced Pataki's successful fiscally conservative leadership and re-elected him 2 more times in 1998 and 2002 by a 21% and a 16% margin. The largest victory by a Republican in the history of New York. He has formed No American Debt because he wants the President and Republican candidates for president to understand resolving the $14 trillion debt lies at the core of an economic recovery. And I have to... and please join me in welcoming Governor George Pataki, and we have other guests here. State Senator Andy Sanborn, Representatives Janine Notter and Mark Lindsley. Jim Adams, Chairman of the Granite State Taxpayers. Andrew Hemingway, Republican Liberty Caucus. Kevin Smith, Conservative New Hampshire. Alan Glassman, Belknap County GOP Chair. Wayne Lesperance of New England College. And Jennifer Horn of We the People.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it very much, and it's great to be back here at New England College. I was here a few years ago when I had the privilege of giving the commencement address to the graduates of this great school. And Eric mentioned some of the dignitaries in the crowd, but I have to mention 2 of them again because they are graduates of New England College. Senator Andy Sanborn. Andy, wherever you are, a graduate of New England College. And former Senator Dave Carrier, who served 8 years in the state Senate, and is from Henniker, also a graduate of New England College. Senator, thank you for being here this morning, and I'm honored to be a part of your program as we deal with economic and other political issues going into next year. Let me begin. I assume we have some New England College students here. Do we have some students from New England College? If so, can you raise your hand? Yes, there you go. Okay. Now, do any of you have student loans? Have you taken out loans? Yes? All right, I'm not surprised. You've made an intelligent decision that you're going to go to a great academic institution, get your degree, and it's worth borrowing to do that. Now, do you have any other loans? Do you have any other debts besides your New England College tuition, college loan? Car. All right. Anything else? No. Well, this is an educational program, so let me correct you respectfully. Every one of you owes $46,000 to the federal government. And by the end of this decade, if things don't change, every one of you will owe $150,000 to the federal government. Now, you might not be aware of that, but you know why? The reason is very simple. We have a government in Washington that lives way beyond its means. It is an absolute crime against our children and stealing from our future. This year, under President Obama, the United States will incur a $1.65 trillion deficit. People used to think of billions. When you're in Washington and talking about debt, you think of trillions. And by the end of this year, we will have $14.3 trillion in debt. And what do we have to show for it? Do we have brand new bridges and highways, airports? We have politicians under President Obama who are stealing from the future, borrowing from our children, committing a crime against the future of this country so they can reward special interest groups today, and it has got to stop. So we've created a new organization, No American Debt. Last year, when they were looking to pass Obamacare, which I think was one of the worst laws our country has ever seen, we created a group, Revere America, to argue against passing that bill. We got 1.2 million people from every state in the union to sign a petition saying, repeal and replace Obamacare once it was passed. When that didn't happen, we went to political action and helped elect 44 new members of the House, including 2 in New Hampshire, who understand how bad that law is for our country. Now we have to hold this president accountable. He has the worst fiscal record of any president in the history of our country. This year we will run up the largest deficit in any one year in the history of our country. In 4 years he will have incurred more debt than any president ever in our country's history, and we will have incurred as a country more debt than any other country in the history of the world. It's not sustainable. It has got to stop.